Good evening, everyone. I actually chose iron as my mineral that I wanted to look up and do a little bit of research on. As many of you may know or may not know, my boyfriend was actually diagnosed with colon cancer recently, so actually he is on the verge of being anemic because actually during chemotherapy it kind of shoots everything out the water and everything becomes a mess. So, what I found out is iron is needed for the formation of hemoglobin, which is an iron protein that carries oxygen through the body. So, there are many ways that you can get your iron intake daily by eating meats, red meats, pork, poultry, also seafood, beans, eggs, dark green leafy vegetables, whole grains, and fortified cereals. There's tons of ways. So men ages 19 to 64 should intake about 8.7 milligrams. Women ages 19 through 50 should take about 14.8 milligrams, and women 50 through 64 should take about 8.7 milligrams. So there's a pretty decent range for everybody. The deficiencies are low iron causes people to become anemic. Anemia is a condition in which the blood doesn't have enough healthy red blood cells. Developing anemia is common for people with cancer. Like I said, the chemotherapy kind of kills everything good and bad. So you can't really select which cells live and which ones don't, unfortunately. Let's see here. The side effects of being anemic is fatigue, so you're just tired. I was actually anemic whenever I was pregnant with my daughter, and so I was already tired. I was pregnant, and so it was just horrible being anemic on top of that. And even after she was born, I was still anemic, so I ended up having to take an iron supplement. So it makes people really tired, and why it's so important for cancer patients is if they become anemic, then their body is tired because of being anemic, but then on top of the chemotherapy, it just makes it unbearable for a lot of them. So they really have to stay on top of their iron counts, and they are constantly doing blood tests every week. That's regardless, but that's just to make sure everything's working properly still with the chemotherapy, because the chemotherapy, like I said, it just kills everything good and bad, unfortunately. Let's see here. And also, it is very common in women who lose a lot of blood during their menstrual cycles to become anemic. So they're at higher risk because of that. And a way that they get rid of that is having to take the supplements to keep the iron up. And toxicities, the toxicity effects begins to occur at doses about 10 to 20 milligrams, and dosages of more than about 50 milligrams of iron are associated with severe toxicity. Iron overdose has been one of the leading causes of poisoning deaths in younger children, 6 and younger actually, just because they look like candy. I mean, I know whenever I was younger, my parents gave me the Flintstone ones, and I would sneak in and I would take them without them knowing, and just because it looked and tasted like candy for me. So now I put my daughters away because I do not want her to end up overdosing, or just, too much is not good regardless. So like I said, iron is very important. It's actually kind of crazy how important it is. You don't really think about it on the daily basis, but like I said, it's very easy to get your intakes that's needed. Pretty much with any of the food groups. I mean, meat, we all eat meat, or some of us eat meat, but you can also get them in your dark green leafy vegetables. So I mean, there's multiple ways to get your intake, and I just thought that it was really cool. I mean, I kind of killed two birds with one stone, just because my boyfriend is now having to fight that, and then also this class, so it was very enjoyable. Hope you enjoy.